Hello and welcome once again to Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today I want to talk about reflex red dot sights on carry pistols. A lot of people ask me all the time, are these a fad? Is it just a fad that people are going through putting red dots on carry guns? Is it something that will fade away? And to those people I say, I hope not. Because sometimes there are actual advancements in technology that are beneficial that I hope do catch on, and red dot sights on carry guns is definitely one of them. Now I know a lot of people think, well, why would we possibly need a red dot sight on a carry gun? Because it's all about close-up shooting, shoot at distance, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Well, red dot sights aren't just good for shooting at a distance. They're actually great for shooting in close range when things are moving. It's much easier to maintain a sight picture with that little red dot than it is with lining up your front and your back sights. Because with the red dot, you only have to put one thing in line with your target, not two. When you don't have a red dot, when you're using your iron sights or night sights, whatever, you have to line up front and back and then the target. Or if they're really close, you just have to press the front sight into them. But if they're at moderate distance, having to only line up the red dot with the target, it's a big benefit. If you've never tried it, you should try it. I'm a little older. My eyes aren't what they used to be. And maintaining a proper sight picture while still tracking a moving object at 15 yards is not the easiest thing for me anymore. And when I have a P320 or similar gun with a red dot on it, I can hit the swinging targets at the range, the ones that swing on a rope. They're not like patterned swing, they just swing wildly on a rope. With the red dot, I can hit them while they're moving. But without the red dot, I can't do that. I can't line up the sights and maintain a sight picture on the moving item with, my reduced reflexes and worsened eyesight as I've gotten older. So they do serve a purpose. And it's not as much long-range shooting, which they are okay for, moderately long-range shooting. And a lot of people think, well, I would never shoot at long-range for self-defense. Yeah, if you can't think of a situation where you would shoot long-range for self-defense, you might be limiting yourself a little bit too much. You might be too small of a thinker. But that's another topic. But where they really shine, in my opinion, is moderate range, or when there's a lot of movement. People are moving around. Like, say, you've got an active shooter that you're trying to pin down, and while he's also shooting at other people, or you, or whatever, maybe you're moving, he's moving, whatever. When you have that little dot to use as your aim point, it's so much easier than maintaining, proper eye alignment, proper sight alignment, and tracking the target. You can track that target just by keeping it within eyesight. You don't have to worry about alignments as much. And that is so much easier. And it does serve a purpose because that is something you're going to want to be able to do. It's not a fad. It's not there just because it looks cool. It's not there just because, one more gadget to sell. No, this is not the case. Red dot sights on these reflex red dot sights on carry pistols are a huge improvement. And they give you a very large advantage when it comes, like I said, to tracking a moving target or tracking a target while you're moving. If you don't believe me, just go to the range. Get to where they have the plastic bowling pins that hang on a rope for your target. That's available at most ranges. Try shooting them with your iron sights. Then, see how quickly you can get shots on them again as they're moving. Then try it with a red dot sight and see how much you improve. They do give you a benefit. They are not a fad. They are something that I think is awesome. I love them on a carry gun. I wish I had more carry guns that had them on them, but I don't. But I'm definitely going to say they are not a fad. They are not just for looks. They are not just to have an extra gadget on your carry gun. They are something that I think every person, especially if you're older, should have on their gun if they're ever worried about, like I said, tracking a moving target or tracking a target while they're moving at either close, moderate, or long range. And we're talking long range as far as defensive pistol usage here, not 300 yards or anything. But like I said, they give you a big advantage. And if you've never tried them on your gun, you should try them because they are a revolution as far as I'm concerned. Someone my age, they really changed the game as far as how I can shoot. So really like them. Now, I do believe you should always be able to co-witness because I'm still not at a point in my life where I trust battery-operated items to always work when you need them. So have a co-witness available to you just in case they crap out on you when you need them. But if you do need them, a red dot sight on your carry gun is something that I cannot believe anyone would ever be sorry they had. It's something that it'll give you an advantage that you will always be glad you had if you ever have to use your carry gun. You know, now that I've talked about red dots here, I want to do a little tie-in here as we move on to our subject of gun talk. You know, one thing a lot of people say about red dots on guns is they often can't afford to get a red dot for their gun, or their gun's not cut for a red dot, or they can't find a gun they can afford that is cut for a red dot. So how do they go about getting guns that have red dots on them, or having a red dot that's affordable that they can buy? Well, I want to talk about one specific gun, and there's many others out there also, but I want to talk about one specific one that caught my attention this week, and it is the EAA MC9 with FAR dot. Now, this is a gun from, like I said, it's from the EAA Corp, and they are a company that manufactures guns overseas, brings them into this country. Now, I'm going to make a little disclaimer here. I'm not a fan of the country they make their guns in, but that's me. That's not you. Like I said, you won't find cancel culture here on my channel just because I don't like something. But I wanted to point this gun out, and the reason I wanted to point it out is because the gun comes from a manufacturer that has a good reputation of being able to make a good, solid gun. I checked the gun out. It looks like a really nice looking gun, and it comes with that red dot sight installed for just over $500. That's a pretty good price for a reliable self-defense gun and a red dot combined. So I'm not right now saying this is the best gun you can possibly go out and get that has a red dot on it. I'm just saying this is one option that I would suggest people look into, because this new gun from EAA looks like it has a lot of potential. They designed the rear sight, I do believe, to where it can co-witness with the front sight. That's actually a great thing right off the bat. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, I don't like that red dot sight because it's got a lot of polymer on it. Well, you got a polymer gun. Why would you be upset with a polymer-bodied red dot sight? I can't imagine why that's a problem. I mean, I see people say things like that, and I'm like, you're carrying a plastic gun. You know, why would you say, well, I can't have because it's got a polymer bottom part. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. You're saying the same things about your carry gun that are true about your carry gun. But I just wanted to point this gun out to people because, like I said, it is a nice looking gun. I'm really fond of the way it looks. Also, they do have a reputation of making decent, quality, affordable guns. And now that you can get one with a red dot sight installed that is actually made for that gun, fits it perfectly, and isn't really expensive, doesn't add any extra cost to it. Like I said, getting this gun for just over $500 with the red dot sight, that's quite a deal. So if you're looking at finding a gun that has a red dot sight on it, that is affordable, that you can possibly get, that you don't have to buy, pay $800 for a gun, then another $500 for a sight, and all this other stuff, maybe this is one you should look at. The new EAA MC9 with FAR dot. Hey, I want to move on to a little bit more of a political topic here. I want to talk about something that I think we should pay attention to with the incoming Biden administration. Now, I'm not someone who starts throwing fits and yelling, oh my God, they're going to do this, we need to fight back, blah, blah, about things that haven't even happened yet. But I do believe people should pay attention to things when they're happening, just in case there's potential problem down the road. Now, like I said, I'm not saying panic, this is something that's going to happen. I'm just saying something to keep our eyes open for. Because Biden has nominated, or actually appointed, Xavier Becerra, I believe is how he pronounces his last name. He is the California Attorney General. He has appointed him the head of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's a bad thing in a couple of minutes. And he's also nominated a Dr. Vivek Murthy as Surgeon General. And I think this is something to pay attention to too, because both of these guys are fervently anti-gun, and they're both going into official health department positions, and people that are in charge of America's health and well-being, etc. And one thing that the anti-gun people have been trying to accomplish over the last several decades is to have gun violence labeled as a public health issue and not a civil rights issue. Or a constitutional rights issue. And putting these two people that are fervently anti-gun into positions where they could actually take steps to try to have gun violence and gun deaths, put quotes around gun violence and gun deaths because it's just violence and deaths. But they love to center out the ones that happen with guns. Beat someone to death with a pipe, they won't care. This is not a gun. But they're putting these two guys in positions in the public health system, and one of their big goals over the last, like I said, decades has been to declare gun violence and gun deaths as a public health issue. So I think we should be paying attention to that. Like I say, don't panic, but, take your blinders off. Just pay attention. Watch this, kind of like watch these people and see what comes of it. If nothing comes of it, great. But for now, like I said, just be aware, keep your eye out, because I think that might be a potential plan for the Biden administration to have gun crimes and gun violence declared a public health issue instead of a constitutional rights issue. All right, I want to end the show today with a new segment that might become a daily segment because I'm calling it the Concealed Carrier of the Day. And the reason I want to do this little segment is a lot of people out there are new to carrying. They don't understand how to carry or what they can carry. They're very nervous about it. They're apprehensive, just all kinds of problems people face when they first start carrying. Well, I think by showing examples of people, everyday people who carry guns in specific ways and have no problem with it, I think that helps encourage other people to carry. So I'm going to choose one viewer who sent me a picture of their carry rig and how they carry the gun, and I'm going to show it during the show. If you want to be part of this segment, you have to send me an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and you have to put in the subject line, Viewer EDC. And I'll know that that's for this segment. But today's viewer EDC is from Bob Tom, which I don't know if that's his actual name. He's carrying a Rock Island A2FS 10mm in an Alien Gear Cloak Tuck 3.5. Now, as you can see, Bob Tom, if that is his real name, which I don't think it is a skinny bitch. And yet he's carrying a fairly large gun and very confidently doing so, inside waistband even. So, like I say, encouragement to all you other skinny bitches out there that think you have to buy something like a shield or something to carry. You don't have to. You can conceal whatever you want to conceal as long as you know how to do it. And as long as you give it a go. So just wanted to show you here, as you see, Bob Tom carrying his, I believe that's a double stack. If I'm basing it on the Magwell, that looks like the double stack version of the 10mm Rock Island. So that's a fairly large gun. You also see here in the picture his dog Alf, who is looking at him like, how come you can afford a double stack 10mm handgun and obviously buy ammunition for it, but you can't buy a fucking bed skirt, so we don't have to look at that goddamn ugly box spring behind us all the time. But beyond that, like I said, just wanted to show this new segment, the Concealed Carrier of the Day. And like I said, today it is Bob Tom carrying his double stack 10mm Rock Island Armory in his Alien Gear Cloak Tuck 3.5. All right, there you have it. Another episode of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Hope you enjoyed the show today, and I hope you come back tomorrow. But until then, I just want to sign off and say, as usual, as far as the state of the world is concerned today, it is what it is. But what it will be in the future, if we continue to work together and do the things that I know we can do, what it will be is something better.